The governorship candidate of the Social Democratic Party, SDP, Magnus, has accused the Rivers State governor, Nyesom Wike, of locking up the state with violence and harassment of the people during the governorship and State House of Assembly elections held on March 18, 2023. According to Abe, the elections were marked by widespread state-sponsored violence, harassment, intimidation, arrest, and even killings, which gravely affected the outcome. He expressed disappointment in state security agencies over their indifference to the killings and alleged electoral fraud that characterized the exercise. So joining us now from our Abuja studio is Senator Magnus Abe. Senator Magnus Abe, great to have you on the show this morning. Concerning all of this, Governor Wike gave a more than a 2 or 3 hour rebuttal yesterday, and he sort of said, "I am the saint, every other person lied about Rivers." What's your take on this?
Well, I don't think that the issue of Rivers State will depend on what any one individual says. I think what happened in Rivers State was visible to the entire world and to Rivers people themselves, and all the observers who came to Rivers State could also see what happened. Talking about saints and angels, Rivers State is the only state where even the process of campaigning to try to share our ideas with the electorate was already fraught and marked with violence, intimidation, shootings, attacks. And if you didn't have personal courage, you couldn't even move around to share, neither could people even come out to hear you. Now, leading up to the elections, I'll give you an example. In Ahoda West, for example, there was no collation. The entire exercise was marred by violence. The collation officers ran away up till the next day. And the electoral officer kept calling for permission to cancel the election. It was never allowed. At the end of the day, the elections were moved to the INEC head office and collated there by unknown persons in the absence of every other agent, and with sheets from where nobody can, with result sheets from where nobody can ascertain. And those results were accepted by INEC in INEC. When you talk of the police, there are several videos of policemen following PDP officials around the state, hijacking ballot boxes, cutting away electoral materials. Not one of them were apprehended. The police officers who followed them around, sometimes in up to 6 or 7 truckloads of police officers, will be following one official around, carrying away electoral materials. The only people arrested for electoral offenses are members of the SDP. They are the only ones still in the state CID as we speak. And what are the offenses? Oh, you are wearing the wrong tag. Oh, your tag does not show your picture. All sorts of frivolous reasons. And then they're sitting there trying to cook up cases against them on the instructions of the governor. It is only SDP members that were arrested for electoral offenses in Rivers State. The only person arrested for vote buying in Rivers State was an SDP member. And SDP is the party that did not send 1 naira to anywhere in the entire state. Not 1 naira. But we're the only one that was arrested for vote buying. Today, the only investigation that is going on in the whole of Rivers State is the investigation to ascertain how SDP members obtained tags. There is no investigation into the kidnap of a member of the SDP who has disappeared until today. The police is claiming that they don't know where he is. Chisom Leonard, Ezo Ajanwu, all these people are dead. Nobody is talking about it. Freedom Albai, we have informed the police that this man can still not be found till today. Nobody is talking about it. The governor is not mentioning it. There is no effort whatsoever on the part of the security agencies to even try to ascertain the whereabouts of this person who was kidnapped by people in uniform. So with all this kind of situation on in the state, I'm surprised that the governor's only reaction is to focus and target on Senator Abe. All through the elections, I avoided mentioning him by name or attacking him, and he also respected his boundaries. But right from the night of the election, he went on air. he made a state broadcast in which he declared over 30 SDP members wanted in Rivers State, including a man who came from America just to cast his vote in this election as a Nigerian citizen. So what are we talking about? It is not about what I say. It is not about what the governor says. We are both human beings. It is about what people can see. It is about what is actually happening in the state. Why is nobody talking about the people that died in Rivers State? Why is the police not mentioning the people that died? Why is the police yes?
Senator Abe, from what you've said, you are alluding to the fact that the security agencies, in this case, like you mentioned, the police were complicit, or there was some sort of collusion, connivance with the governor, Nyesom Wike, with INEC, with security agencies. Is that what you're stating categorically this morning? And in addition to that, when you made reports to, the security agencies that you did, what was their response like? What did they say? Then you'd spoken about the fact that even traditional rulers were threatening members of their community not to go out to vote if they were not going to vote a certain way. I'd like you to expound on that more, because we are looking at one state, but we also want to put the spotlight on Rivers State so we get a true picture of what's happened during elections.
Thank you very much, Ayo. I just want to thank you for bringing out some of these facts. I don't think that anybody who is interested in getting the truth about what happened in Rivers State, all the person needs to do is to go out there and talk to Rivers people. People were intimidated. The traditional rulers, for the first time in the history of our state, the government directed the Rivers State Traditional Rulers Council to adopt a candidate, which they did officially, and a statement was issued. That is not something that Senator Abe is making up. Every traditional ruler went home and still made a public statement adopting the candidate of the PDP, and all traditional town criers were out on the streets threatening people, if you will not vote for PDP, don't even come out. And if you will not vote for PDP, it happened everywhere. This is something that is known to everybody. Now, in certain places, non-indigens were told, if you come out to vote, or you make sure you go and vote for PDP. If you're not voting for PDP, after the election, pack up and leave. We will destroy your business. We'll do all that was done publicly. It's not something I am saying. It is something that you can verify. Now, going beyond that, the police were the people that actually went around carrying ballot boxes with PDP officials. They were escorting local government chairmen, commissioners in truckloads. I even had my personal security withdrawn, but local government chairmen were going around with 5, 6 truckloads of policemen entering everywhere, cutting away boxes, and not allowing results to be counted and uploaded at the polling units. In places when they finished voting, all the votes were inspected. Those for SDP were brought out and turned. All these things happened in public. In Obunabali, when the PDP official came out to announce that if you're not voting for PDP, you should go back, a boy who raised his hand to say, excuse me, sir, I would just like to plead that why don't we allow people to vote for any party of their choice? The boy was beaten to pulp right there in front of the police. When people managed to arrest the boys who beat him up, drag them to the police station, they were released the same day. But SDP members who wore the wrong tags are being investigated. Some of them have been with the army from Saturday till today. That is the only investigation that is going on in Rivers State. Investigation into those who died, nobody is talking about it. Videos of officials and policemen in uniform carrying away ballot boxes, nobody is talking about it. Everything that happened in the state, no, it's a perfect election as far as they are concerned. The collation and writing of results right in INEC headquarters, nobody is talking about any of that. All they are interested in is how SDP people got tags to wear on election day. I think that if we are being sincere and we are being honest, what happened in Rivers State, you don't need to wait for Senator Abe to come and tell you that it was a charade and a sham. It was. I ordinarily would not have even said so much. But when you start targeting, up till now as we're speaking, the DPO in Thai local government is still chasing SDP members. They're still breaking their houses as we speak. What kind of election are we talking about?
Okay. You have been quoted as saying that you are not going to congratulate Fubara, the PDP candidate who has now been declared governor-elect. Are you going to court to challenge the result of the election? 2, Governor Wike says nobody should bother about you because in any case, you were not prepared for the election. You just wanted to be mentioned as somebody who ran the gubernatorial race. Do you agree with that view? And then 3, you lost in Gokana local government, which is your own local government. What happened in Gokana? You mean they rigged you out in your own local government?
Well, first of all, let me say this about Governor Wike saying that nobody should take me seriously. If you want to ascertain who is a serious candidate and who is not a serious candidate, you organize an election. What a serious candidate does is to campaign and market himself to the people of the state. And that is exactly what we did. First of all, if you will recall, the Social Democratic Party was non-existent in Rivers State. Well, practically so, a few months ago, until we came into the party. Today, even from the latest ANAP poll, the SDP was accelerating at 81%. That was the only party that was growing at that speed in the entire state, and it was visible to everybody. Now, when you talk about being serious, yes, I was not prepared for war. So if he says I wasn't prepared for war. But in a serious election, people are allowed to come out and vote. So we didn't prepare for war, we prepared for elections. So when you talk about seriousness, it is a responsibility of the government to have provided an environment in which Rivers people can vote. That did not happen. Now, what the governor is trying to do for some reason, and I want Nigerians to look into it, all through the elections, he wasn't attacking Senator Abe. Now the elections are over, all of a sudden, Senator Abe is his prime target. Trying to discredit me and my aspiration is the prime target of Governor Wike. Now let me say this. He is an Ikwere man. The thing he's fighting in the national is that a Fulani man should not succeed another Fulani man. But in Rivers State, he is an Ikwere man. He had his own ambition to succeed his brother, Governor Rotimi Amechi, who is also from Ikwere. He came out, he pursued that ambition without reservations. People died for him to achieve that. He didn't say his ambition was unserious. But I am an Ogoni man. In the entire history of Rivers State, no Ogoni man has ever had the opportunity to even contest in a major political party. And I decided that I will contest. I have no apologies to offer to anybody. I am eminently qualified. Rivers people know who won the election. They know who also did not win the election. So whatever the governor wants to say, he is free to say it. But I want to say here clearly to the entire world that my name is Senator Magnus Abe. I was a candidate of the SDP, and I have every right to contest for the governorship of Rivers State. And if this whole thing were to be played all over again, I will still contest and demand for my right to be on the ballot and for Rivers people to have a choice to vote for whoever they want to vote for. So somebody who did not even campaign, who did not say a word throughout the election, is declared the winner with over 300,000 votes. You know, so I don't need to go into what he is saying. He's free to say what he likes. He's a citizen of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, but he should also understand that we too are citizens of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, and we have our rights. And I'm not somebody that he would just come out and hush in public. He should say what he wants to say. But I have a right to contest, and I'm very proud of the fact that I stood up for my rights and Rivers people stood with me. If he wanted to know what Rivers people think about him and about his administration and about me and about my right to contest, the proper thing to have done would have been to allow an election. He didn't allow one. So having scuttled the election, he has no right to come out and run down anybody. He cannot do that. Secondly, talking about Gokana, the whole thing was that results should be uploaded at the polling units. Now, when it became night, and it was now night, they refused to upload the elections, it was now night, the CP came. I looked at the situation and I decided in the interest of my people, because if they continue to detain the polling officers at the various polling units, in the night, what will be the outcome of it? The result will either be thrown overboard or people will die. And so in the interest of my people, I allowed them to take the boxes away and go and do whatever they wanted to do. The whole point of what the whole thing about was to prove to the world that Senator Abe did not win Gokana. It is immaterial to me. I have said time and time again that I don't have the power to deliver any vote other than my own vote. So if the people of my ward decide that they will not vote for me, it is their right, and their right should be respected. So all this point about Senator Abe not delivering Gokana is irrelevant. They should have allowed people to vote and allowed the results to be uploaded at the different polling units as guaranteed or as promised by INEC. In the whole of Kana, for example, the entire Kana, the results that were given that was like 5,000. How do you say that is an election? And if you look at the videos, you see more than 100,000 people all over the streets and the villages fighting and screaming to be allowed to vote. The Ogoni people were particularly brutalized. In Thai local government, before 12:30, they had carted away all the materials using police and army, even where people had voted. And if you go there, go to the streets and ask people who they voted for. It's not a hidden thing what happened in Rivers State. It is unfortunate. I would say that, like I said to Rivers people from the beginning, if you allow people to fool you the first time, you're a fool. If they fool you the second time, you're a proper fool. We were fools to believe that INEC was going to change anything after our first experience. But that is exactly what happened in the state. So the whole point of saying Senator Abe didn't win his local government is immaterial to me. If you want to know if I'll win my local government, allow the people to vote, upload the votes at the polling units. With all the money, intimidation, and violence that was brought into the election, why didn't they allow Rivers people to come out and vote?
Okay, will you go to court? I asked you, since you have said you will not congratulate Fubara.
You see, the whole issue, I didn't even want to talk about Fubara. The young man is not an issue as far as this whole thing was concerned. He didn't talk to anybody throughout the election, and nobody spoke to him. The issue of congratulating or not congratulating him was irrelevant. It was the same PDP mischief makers that went to draft a statement in my name saying that I had congratulated Fubara and repeating the same things that the governor is mounting. That I was not a serious candidate, I didn't go to contest. If I'm not a serious candidate, why is he after the SDP? Why is he after me? Why was I the focal point of his attacks? Okay. Why did he not allow the security to provide security for Rivers people to vote? If you're so sure of yourself and sure of your popularity and sure of your acceptance, the best way to test it is in an election. And we didn't have one. So I don't want to go into all those. Why would I congratulate somebody that emanated from this kind of process? I'm telling you that as we speak, over 15 persons are reported dead across Rivers State. The police has not said a word about that.
Okay.
Now, so one of the members of our party, Freeborn Abai, was kidnapped right from the election ground. The police say they don't have him. Nobody is saying a word about it. The governor would not say a word about it. How do we live in a country like that? So the lives of people are irrelevant. And then everybody is going around describing the election as free and fair and all that. That kind of talk at this time is irrelevant to these families.
Thank you. Now, thank you, Senator. Well, thank you very much, Senator Magnus.